Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Usually on this channel we cover smaller handheld electronics, but today we're taking a look at a kitchen gadget. It's known as an air fryer, and it's a product category that's gotten more popular over the past few months. This one here by Kyvol is a relatively entry-level model that sells for around $100. So as the name hints at, the benefits of an air fryer compared to deep frying is to get the food crispy. That includes fries, chicken, basically anything that you want to dehydrate, include making your own chips, without really submerging the entire food into oil, but it can still create an effect of making the food crispy. So how it achieves this effect is by getting the food really hot and then of course circulating the hot air using fans 360 degrees inside of the internal basket. So it's all about getting a similar effect to frying something but without as much oil, and so making the process healthier on your body. Now in terms of this particular model, the AF60, one of the unique selling points here is it has a transparent window on the front, which not all of these have, so you're able to kind of peek inside and see the food as it's cooking. It also has a touch-sensitive control pad, which relies on capacitive sensors that you can tap on with your fingers to set things like different presets and temperature adjustments, and how it heats things up is using halogen and infrared lights. Now, if you are familiar though, the concept of an air fryer is still pretty similar to a larger convection oven, so if you have one of those in your kitchen, you know that a convection oven also is kind of like baking, but also adds in the effect of circulating the heat around using fans. So if you have a convection oven inside of your home, it's pretty similar to an air fryer. It's just using kind of a newer terminology that will draw your attention more. And another benefit of an air fryer is it's more compact. It has a smaller volume in terms of what the food can hold, but it's about the same form factor as a smaller toaster oven that you can carry around. This one here also has a ceramic coated basket that holds the food. It's been specially coated so it claims to not stick. This model here comes in at 6 quarts, and of course you have different functions as well. 85% less fat and oil than deep fried foods, but also getting that crispy texture. Again, it fits things like a whole chicken inside if you are preparing a roast maybe for Thanksgiving or the holiday season. At this price point, it's pretty entry level compared to other competitors like Philips and more expensive brands that will typically sell for 2 or 3 times the price. More expensive models that have smarter features like built-in Wi-Fi, allowing you to control things from a smartphone app. However, this model here is pretty entry level, so it doesn't have that smart connected feature. However, it's very simple to operate. As far as packaging contents are concerned, aside from the air fryer itself, we also get a quick user manual as well as some recipes inside of this little pamphlet. It includes different types of savory dishes, whether that's fries, meat, as well as even some optional desserts that you're able to make. It tells you kind of the amount that you should put inside, as well as how long it should be set in terms of the timer to make it. Also includes vegetables, asparagus, different types that you can kind of create dishes with, and also bake even some things like pineapples, bananas, chocolate cake, just to get you started. Now, by the way, we're in a kitchen, so just for reference, here's what a regular convection oven looks like. Often it's built directly into the kitchen of a home, and compared to the air fryer, which is pretty similar in functionality, but you can see how it's much smaller. The body itself is constructed out of a polycarbonate plastic, which is a little bit on the glossy side. It does attract fingerprints a bit, especially with the touch-sensitive control panel on the top. That does mean that after a while, you have to kind of wipe it down to keep it clean. And then there's also a dial on the side here that you can use to turn to adjust things like the time. It's pretty easy to use, although by default the lights on the bottom row are turned off. So if you're in a darkened environment, it can be a little hard to see, although these 4 buttons on the top will always be turned on. Otherwise, the bottom here just features the aforementioned window, and the internal section is also illuminated so you can see the object or food inside when it's turned on. But we can pull to find the bin on the inside that again fits 6 quarts of food. It is worth mentioning that as a safety feature, the power is turned off automatically whenever the door is opened. So if I close the door now, you can see how it just turns back onto life. Some safety precautions as well as quick reminders of how long certain standard foods will take to heat up and cook. So again, overall attractive enough, although just a bit glossy, and does attract some glare and fingerprints. Alright, so just a very quick demo for now. I've popped in a few fries. Tap on start once you are satisfied, and you'll see that the light in here will start to illuminate, giving you a good peek of what the food inside is doing. and you can kind of observe as it gets more crispy, the texture changes. The light here will actually turn on and off a few times just to get a more even cooking and prevent overheating, so you can watch that action. Again, there is a fan here that's circulating the hot air, so it does have a bit of noise in the background. You can hear what it sounds like. In terms of reaching a temperature like 360 degrees Fahrenheit, it takes just a minute or two, so it's pretty fast to preheat, not much time at all, but definitely not the most quiet appliance or kitchen gadget in the world. And also what it looks like again on the back with the air kind of circulating out. One thing I want to point out is it's not my first time, of course, using this air fryer since this is our review. Now showing you guys some footage of other foods that I tried cooking on here, including samosas, other kind of fried pastry snacks. You can see the entire process also works in a pretty similar fashion. And here's a quick kind of demo video. You can see how the parts of the pastry are crispening up through the window, so it does create a pretty cool effect, very appetizing in fact. And this was the effect of cooking these little samosa wrappers. After about 10 minutes or so, they came out, they were nice and crispy. Now here's a demo of chicken that was actually made using the air fryer and set to about 15 minutes. You can see that it actually worked really well in terms of crispening up the skin of the chicken. It actually tasted great. You can add some rub to make sure you get some flavor onto the chicken or dip it into some sauce. The meat itself was still tender but fully cooked, and of course you get that crispy skin and texture, which makes it taste really good. So faster for sure compared to a regular toaster oven that has a similar size, since toaster ovens don't have a circulating fan inside that you're hearing now. That makes the process faster and getting a more even heat buildup. So from this angle looking up, you can see that's kind of where the bulb is accumulating the heat. You can kind of make out the blades of the fan that are circulating above to try and get the entire temperature inside the mini oven here to be of a hot enough temperature. We see the fries here are already crisping up quite well with slightly darker colors now, and we're going to come back and do a quick taste test next. Now it's worth mentioning that for most foods that you're going to cook on here, you don't have to put oil, but it's still recommended to slightly dip maybe the outer surface on a touch of oil. That can sometimes still add a bit of flavor and texture, although you don't have to submerge, of course, the entire food or bin in oil. So there we have it, our French fries, which came out very crispy as well as delicious, having a very nice texture to them and just pretty fast to make. Again, taking just about 5 to 6 minutes for a very small batch if you're trying to fill up the entire bin, usually taking about 15 minutes and you're ready to go. So great way to serve up food, especially in smaller portions. So that's more or less it for the review of the Kyvol AF60, a relatively inexpensive entry-level air fryer, but works really well in terms of getting a crispy food, tender and soft on the inside, but fully cooked, and getting a nice crispy texture if you enjoy that without adding as much oil as conventional deep frying. So you can check out more details if you're interested, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the Kyvol air fryer.